welcome to Hearties. We are fresh off of the episode 1, season 13. I'm Marg from California,
And I'm Dawn from North Carolina.
and we're joined today by three Hearties from different parts of the country. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and my Instagram is Haul Out the Hallmark. And I've been watching, I've been in the Hearties world for a year, which is pretty surprising because I literally binged it all last January and
Oh,
then caught up with the live season, which was insane. Me and my mom did that, but it's been amazing.
And where are you from, Sarah?
I'm from Pennsylvania, Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
Bucks
Bucks
County,
County. Here you
Pennsylvania.
go.
Yes.
All right, Janae.
Hi, I'm Janae Tate. I am from Florida, warm weather down here, and I have been watching. I've been a Hardy since 2014 when the show first started.
Oh, no.
But I am new to the social media world. I've only been a part of the social media world for the last maybe year and a half, 2 years.
Wow.
Very
Mhm.
cool.
Fun.
And
From
I'm
Indiana.
Jeremy. I'm from Charleston, West Virginia. And I thought that I would be the newest Hardy here, but I guess I've actually been watching a little bit longer than Sarah. I was fall of 2024.
Mhm.
Yeah, love the Hardy's world.
I love it.
Well, we're
That's
just so
great.
excited to have you all here and to represent, different viewpoints and different reactions to our amazing season opener. Let's dive right in. What were your favorite parts? What really
This is good.
I don't know, made your heart sing or made you get verklempt or made you laugh or whatever it was. Sarah, what was your favorite part?
I think that this season, everyone is so vibrant. The show is much more vibrant. I'm seeing so many more extras, and maybe that's because I saw them at the Hardy's family reunion, so I recognize some. I don't know if it's that, but I just feel like everyone's also getting so much more screen time, so I love that. I also love Charlotte and Nathan talking. I thought that was so cute and such a relationship I just love to see because I love Daniel listening, so I love when they mention Jack. So I love that part.
Mhm.
Also, Nathan going to Rosemary for advice. I thought that was so sweet. It showed that he really cares about Elizabeth and
Mhm.
goes to her bestie. And obviously the main part where the pilot comes with the inspector. I love that.
Yes.
It was amazing. And then
Was it just the pilot or the plot itself?
I mean, it was the plot and the pilot coming. Everything is good. And the plane. The plane was cool too.
And
The
the
plane
plane.
was cool.
Seeing
It
the
was
reaction.
cool.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And
yeah.
the stoplight coming in. I mean, it's all these new developments. It's so cool. Felt like such a Hardy's community. I love that.
Yeah.
You're such a Hardy. You're such a Hardy that I ask you for one and you give me 10.
I was about to say, Sarah, you just named them all.
You can't even pick.
Just name them
That's
all.
funny. But you did say to me it was planes, trains, and automobiles. For this episode. So you touched for all of those things.
All right. Well, you gave us a lot. Gave us a lot of topics, but we'll move on and then we'll come back and unpack some of that.
Yep.
Janae, what did you have a favorite part?
Of course, I had a favorite part. So I'm just gonna. I have a long list like Sarah, but I'll just choose two of them and dive in them. She mentioned the conversation with Charlotte and Nathan, and that was so sweet because don't get me wrong, I love Jack, but I think for such a long time Nathan's kind of had this shadow over him, trying to live up to Jack's legacy and I feel like she just couldn't have given him a greater compliment. And it was just that lifted when she said you're great as a man as, my son. I just felt like finally, Nathan, you can just rest and take that shadow from over your head. You don't have to live up to anything. You are a good man and you just have the highest approval. So that was just so sweet for me for Nathan to get that relief. Another part was the alley the row houses, when Nathan and Elizabeth are by the row houses in the back, and Elizabeth is trying to convince Nathan for him to stay behind. I just love how Nathan looks past what Elizabeth is saying and just is no, we're gonna do this for you. We're gonna be there for you. We're not. She's trying to be selfless and think of Allie.
You were when they're in the backyard.
The grill.
Yes, the backyard.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And she's just no, you and Allie stay. And he is it reminded me actually of season 10 when she was about to go with Lucas and she didn't really want to go. And Nathan came to the schoolhouse and he was just what do you want? And I
Mhm.
think I love how he's always making her be honest with herself. And so that was a really sweet moment for me. So those are my two favorites.
Yeah, I
Got
love
it.
those.
Okay, Jeremy.
Okay, I'll guess I'll go with two at least. Um, First one, the season started with a big boom for me because we got the inaugural season of the Rosemary Culture Playhouse. Rosemary has always been my favorite on the show.
Yeah.
So to see her finally get her Playhouse was just an
So
extraordinary
good.
moment. She was so happy. She had such great dialogue in the show. And also, I think being at HFR and the con in Kansas City kind of made me feel more like family
Oh.
this year with the show. And so it just kind of, and they also talked about this on the after show, but they had everybody from the cast in that first episode. So it, it made it such a special
Please.
episode. So I loved Rosemary, and I also loved the development with Henry and his son. Uh,
Yes, that was a
Yes.
good
very
callback.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Well, I think the idea of doing all Hope Valley, that to
Mhm.
me was most important. And even though we have characters that we are concentrating on, and people, have their favorites, and like Rosemary. Rosemary is a favorite for sure.
Yeah.
But I love that it was the full community in the streets, and even in background. They were like the leads were in background, even if they didn't have a line in that particular scene. So to me, that was the most fulfilling time with
I
it,
think
especially for that.
I believe I watched an interview that you guys did before with Erin, and you guys
Mhm.
asked her, "Are there any? Are we going to have any like Hope Valley moments?" And so when little Jack walked out there with that certificate, it was like,
Oh
"There's
my
the
God.
Hope
There
Valley
it
moment. Like
is.
this can only happen in Hope Valley." Yeah.
Right,
That was
So
so
that
right.
was
cute.
Perfect. Yeah,
Little
that's
Jack
Yeah,
wanted to stay. He got to stay.
so
yes.
Yeah,
beautiful.
that was so beautiful. I love that.
I think it speaks to what you're saying, Sarah, the vibrance of it, because
Hmm.
I do think it's most vibrant when everybody is there
Hmm.
together, pulling together. And I did see some frustration this week. Like people were like, we only heard that little tiny bit of Mike and May's song and, whatever. But
Yeah.
I do think there was a concerted effort, and Joy spoke to this on Monday, that they really tried to get everybody into that first episode. And I think that's why it felt so full and so magnetic, as you were
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
love
Yeah.
Joy's. She said something about like the real buzz saw. It's like the realistic buzz saw. So like they have so much in the episode, they had to eliminate some of that. But
Right, exactly. Some
that
is going to
idea,
end up on the cutting room floor with that
yeah,
large of a
yeah,
cast and 42 minutes to fill. Um,
yeah.
but several of you mentioned the Charlotte and Nathan scene, and
Hmm.
it's neat. I think it was neat that Sarah and Janae had sort of a balanced approach. Like I think many Hardys have that affection for Dan Lissing and for the memory of Jack, and it has to be balanced, obviously, with the new man in her life and him feeling like, you know, he's getting all of his just deserves. And so I think it was a really important passing of the baton kind of moment, both honoring the memory and honoring the Mountie in her life now. So
Yeah, I like that way to
um
put it. It was a good
yeah.
balance for everyone that thinks either way.
Yeah, and I don't think many shows, well, first of all, not many shows are on for this many,
I know,
for
yeah.
this many years, but I
Hmm.
don't think many shows would handle it in this way, that they would keep reminding us of somebody who's, departed, somebody who's not there
Hmm.
anymore. I think that's sort of, I think the writers understand how soft-hearted we are.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it was a
I think
foundation, it was a block, it was a pillar. I mean,
Yeah,
when you go through When Calls the Heart every season, even though he was not here after season 5, Jack Jr. was always there. And so we're reminded all the time that there was another person that is impacting, um, you know, outside of, the memory is still there. So I'm glad that they honored that. and did not kind of just push it away and was just
Yes.
like, okay, you're a good guy. Not, I like that Charlotte kind of was, had the memory for her son.
Yes.
And then making sure that
I think we hear, like you said, in every episode, even when we found the medal. And I think that's important for Elizabeth. And she wants little Jack to have that connection. She wants him to like his father to be very present. And so I love how they just weave it in there every episode, every season.
Yes. Yeah. Every season. I love how we get like something about Jack. It just makes me so happy every season that we get it.
I thought it was really interesting that they actually said that they had plans of trying to work Charlotte into previous seasons that didn't work out because they couldn't get Brooke to schedule to work out.
Right.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting to see what they had planned for that.
Yeah.
Yes, that Joy said that she had written dialogue for her before, and yes, I think there had been attempts over the years to have her, so it was a big coup. Yeah, and I think in our culture and our society, it's really important to, we're in a very kind of divided time, and people like to think one thing or another, and life just isn't like that. It's not black and white like that. Your heart is gonna grow. It doesn't just because the man that you loved and lost is no longer present doesn't mean that you can't go and fully love somebody else and still retain the love. So I love when our show is able to bring those messages of very nuanced messages forward, that it's not an either or, that our our heart expands to welcome new people into our lives, and but not forget what the loves that brought us to this point. So
I love that in the middle.
It was really important that they did that immediately too after Jack left. In his letter, that he made sure to tell Elizabeth that he wanted her to love again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Very important.
Yeah.
Okay, and Janae, remind me what your second favorite was. Oh, the grilling scene.
Yes.
The grilling scene.
Oh, the hashtag grill.
Well, it is the grill. I mean, like, we've never seen them having the barbecue in the backyard
Well, I
before.
understand that now, but that's funny.
That's it. I was like,
it was, but that's funny.
We've never seen our Mountie back there flipping,
Now everyone's using the
burgers,
hashtag.
but
everyone's using the hashtag Grill Daddy now. I love that.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
I didn't know
I
that.
didn't see that.
All right, I
I've
had
seen
no
so
idea.
many posts on that.
That's
Was that
hilarious.
in X?
No, it's on Instagram.
Instagram. Oh, okay.
No, I had no idea. But
No clue.
but yeah,
That's
I
funny.
think I don't know. I could see what Elizabeth was saying though, because here you have, Allie going into her final year of school, and she has friends, she has relationships. I could see where Elizabeth was coming from too, that there's no reason for all this sacrifice, that, and of course, and I have to say that truly one of my favorite parts was the Rosemary and
Nathan
scene, and maybe for a little bit of a different reason. I thought it was so beautiful when he said something, I can't remember the exact dialogue, but she says, I don't think we really do understand. And I think that really speaks to, I'm going to cry. This really speaks to, I think, when somebody's in crisis, or when we're with a friend who's gone through something difficult, we often have a really hard time putting ourselves in their shoes. And I know grief counselors and other people say, sometimes you can't get there. You have to just listen and be there with them, and not trying to impose what your understanding of it is, but to really allow them to have their own sort of unique experience and feelings of it. And we often use the words like, I can't imagine. And it's like, I just thought that I don't know if that's what the writers intended, but I felt like it went to a really deep place. Like, I don't know that we really do understand what Elizabeth went through and is going through, having a kid who almost died, who she almost lost, having lost her husband. Like, that's a lot. And so I think it just really brought a lot of empathy to that scene, and then it also was the fuel for that inspiration to think out of the box, to think, what would Elizabeth do in this in this circumstance, you know, where we've seen her so many times with students who faced learning disabilities or problems, and she came up with, you know, a dough because she refused to, you know, those little letters made out of dough that were tactile. You know, she like refused
That
to
was
give up.
one of the best
I love
episodes. I
that's
think
one of my
that would
favorite
be in my
episodes.
top 5
Yeah,
for
no
even for
question.
all through the seasons. But
No
yeah, and
question.
even Erin said something about she is an overprotective mom. I mean,
Yeah.
Jack is her sole focus. You know, it's a real sentiment for those who have dealt with a child that's sick.
I think they were craving more of those best friend and Nathan scenes. You know,
Yes.
I think it fulfilled a wish.
I loved how that scene ended with her and Nathan as well. It was perfect Rosemary with her having the quote from Lewis Carroll.
Yeah.
And the Nathan, it clicking in Nathan's head that he can do something. And then, you know, oh, it was such an inspiring quote.
Yeah.
It was just
Where she
perfect.
feels like she's just like, cha-ching, I have just solved that problem as well.
Yes.
That's right. Call it sneeze.
Yeah, because then you just get on the phone right after. So
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, no. And Rosemary, I'm sorry, when she went through that stoplight and waved back, I was dying. I was
it looked like me driving. I just got my permit and it literally looked like me driving. I was like,
oh.
That's fantastic.
Funny. That's
like,
funny.
Oh gosh. Yeah, don't do that, Sarah. That's not a good idea.
I was not taking lessons from her.
That's funny.
That's funny. I love it.
Wow.
All right, Jeremy, remind me, we covered a little bit of Rosemary. Was there anything else? Oh, Pirates of Penzance. If we could get a little Pirates of Penzance this season, I would be over the moon. That would be
I
very
thought that
exciting.
was such an interesting selection for her first production.
Yeah.
Because the productions that her character, you know, the famous, fabulous Rosemary Coulter had been in up until now were all serious.
Yeah.
They were Shaw productions that were so serious, and she always had to lead. So she was a serious leading woman. And now I think the fact that she's able to expand to a comedy that she's going to, you know, produce and cultivate there in Hope Valley really, I think, spoke to how Hope Valley has came into her character.
Yes.
Over the years, and you know how much that has paid off. I've watched some of that Pirates of Penzance, and I was trying to fill in the different roles with people in the town. And think about
Jeremy went down the rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
he's on it.
How she was going to fill that out. So I thought the background of that was really interesting.
My gosh,
Another thing that I thought was really interesting about that selection was that Gilbert and Sullivan, that was their first production that they had outside of London.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
They tried to bring to America. And for this being Rosemary's first production, I thought it was kind of an interesting tie-in that way as well.
Love it.
Wow.
Love it.
Awesome.
I remember growing up in Kansas City seeing Chariots of Fire, and I think that was my first exposure to Pirates of Penzance. I'm aging myself. I know you guys have not seen. If you haven't seen that movie, go see it. It's an amazing movie about Olympians, and they're from London, and they put on Pirates of Penzance, or there's portions of that.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the runners falls in love with one of the Gilbert and Sullivan performers. So anyway,
yeah, Janae,
Jeremy mentioned the shift in like her selection, but we see when Lee and Rosemary having that moment, and she's like, "Well, am I doing this? Is it a selfish, you know, venture?" And he says, like, "No, this is your love for this community." You know, I think the selection of the play also shows that like this is more about the community than just Rosemary now. Like this is how she's loving on Hope Valley.
I love that.
And so I just think his comments supported that, and that her selection like showed that. So I think that was really that was another jewel. Lee and Rosemary in front of that camera was such a jewel.
It was.
The way that Lee loves Rosemary, I just
yeah.
Yes, they are my favorite.
And I think that that's another thing of it, the nuggets. There was so
Mhm.
many nuggets throughout the whole episode that you could just peel it, and I'm like, oh, I like it. I like
Yes.
that too. So, and it was not like
It was
a
so
full-on
full.
conversation. It was just
Like
a
little snippet.
small scene. Yeah,
But
Yeah.
it made the whole episode just
absolutely,
full.
Yes.
absolutely.
So
Was
vibrant.
there a new development? We had a stoplight, we have an insulin, tier 1 insulin clinic, we have a generator, we have, there's what was the new development for you? And it could be many things that was striking. Anything?
Rosemary's fingernail polish.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes,
I thought
exactly.
like she ate
Red
that.
fingernail
I
polish.
love that.
That's
So
funny.
she talks about that at HCE.
Right.
Oh,
And
really?
how
Oh yeah.
yes.
I saw a clip.
So she spoke about it because she talked about how she walked on set and everyone's like, you have nail polish? And she personally had done the research that nail polish became available in the 1920s. So that's another aspect of the show, like the way that it just moves with the actual times. Like I'll go research and I'm like, oh my gosh, and so she spoke about that, like 1920s, nail polish became available. So it was like right on time. And who else better to sport nail polish than
Exactly.
Yes.
Rosemary? So
Yeah, and
Yes,
just to
I
be
think that
clear,
this.
Hearties, HCE is the Hallmark Christmas Experience in Kansas
Oh,
City,
yes.
and Janae was there for weekend 3, and Sarah was
Hearties
there,
weekend.
and so was Jeremy, and Sarah was there for weekend
Weekend 2.
2. Okay, so there are 4 weekends in Hallmark Christmas Experience, and then Sarah went to the Christmas Con on the
Yes.
East Coast. Was
Yes.
that in New Jersey? Okay,
New Jersey, yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Okay, so you had one weekend in Kansas City and the other weekend.
Yeah.
She
I
did it
gotcha.
all.
I did it all.
She
I'm
did it
going
all.
everywhere.
But yeah, it was funny how
in
Pascal
Pennsylvania?
talked.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It
You're
was funny
central.
how Pascal talked about then she had to keep the nail polish like the
For
whole
6 months.
season, and it was a lot. It was a lot to keep it up that whole time. Yeah, so she was sick of
Funny.
her manicure appointment.
That was one of my most memorable moments at HCE because if you guys have seen Marg's video that we shot there, you actually saw my nail polish.
I loved it.
That I had.
I
So
loved it.
I got to show that to Pascal and tell her that I was so there at the photo op.
Oh, nice.
I got to tell her how excited I was that we matched, and that I didn't have any idea that she would have it.
That's
and
hysterical.
So she was excited about that, but she was also excited that we actually got to see the first episode.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
They actually knew that they were showing it. And then whenever they came back on the final day, Rosemary was able to spill a little bit more details about the first episodes.
Nice.
She didn't have to worry about Elizabeth covering up her mic because she said, I found out yesterday that you all got to see the first episode. So that was kind of a personal moment that Pascal and I got to have there.
Awesome.
Cool.
That's amazing.
Great.
And Jeremy went so far as to have, there is like this beautiful little graphic flourish. If you notice it on the When Calls the Heart font that Hallmark uses, they have this tiny little graphic flourish, which Jeremy had on his nails. So good. Okay, show off those nails and tell us about them.
Okay, so I did these just for Christmas, honestly. But I always try to have a special nail art. So on my ring finger, I did the insignia before and after the When Calls the Heart title, along with like a little snowflake for Christmas. So
cool.
If you're looking at it just as a casual fan, they kind of both look like snowflakes, but
Right.
us Hearties know what's going on.
We know it's in the logo.
And spoiler, I won't tell you, but they do have a connection to season 13.
Oh, I love it. Jeremy, you're like a pro. You're like, spoiler. I love it.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was
Attention to detail.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I need to go to
So
Yale.
cool. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Another
Taking
cool
it all away, I
development
love it.
too was like the stoplight. I think that's gonna make for such funny scenes when he was like, I'm not no man's above the law, and just I think it's gonna make for some funny little scenes like that and gonna
really
create
did.
joy.
Yes.
So Chris,
that was one of my favorites for the full episode. I'm laugh out loud for that one. That was
Chris
cool.
McNally was really generous. He actually met with a lot of us that were in the Fine Magic line there in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I got to talk to him about the stoplight scene. I asked him, I said, what was the fine whenever, he pulled up there and gave you the ticket? And he said that Kevin actually just scribbled on the paper. There wasn't actually a fine, but that he did keep it as a souvenir.
I love
Love it.
it. Oh, that's great.
That's
That's a good detail. Yeah, I heard about that. He was going through like a line and, was so generous for some selfies and things like that. So,
Chatting with
They
everybody.
all were.
I
They
love
were
that.
so generous at HCE. They were so generous. I
yeah.
think I got pictures with every single one of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're really
great.
good
Good.
So
there.
good.
Amazing.
So nice.
Amazing.
What, Sarah?
I think it was
what were you
really
gonna
cool
say?
that
Oh,
I was just
sorry.
saying that they're all all the actors are so good at HC and
kind.
Christmas Con. The actors on just Hallmark Channel in general are just so kind,
So
all of them.
kind.
Yeah. And Janae, I'm so sorry. I
Oh no,
interrupted you.
the new development that we actually got to see Goldie National Park come to fruition.
Yeah.
It was,
Yes.
it's there.
And
so
I
that
think a
was
lot
really
of people
neat.
were like, that's kind of crazy and preposterous that Goldie National Park would exist. And just to see it, like it was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is fantastic. It really is coming to
Well,
fruition.
hopefully it's
And it
okay
looks like
with
it's
the
going to be a
fire.
big part of the season.
Yeah.
The fire.
Well, hopefully it's
Yeah.
okay with the fire.
Yeah.
But
Goldie
I
has a
loved,
personal Goldie has a personal touch for me as well because that was my grandfather's mother's name.
Oh,
So
really?
Aw.
That's cute.
Oh.
when I think about that, I think back to my family. So
Oh, that's
That's
great.
nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
I loved, you could tell Sarah Maberly's team was already very much at work with that beautiful hand-drawn park button that Rosemary was wearing and the poster about the park.
I
Not
did
even
like
to
her
mention the
outfit.
whole boarding house dining room, which I highly recommend that you watch the Edify after show because they go into
So interesting.
detail about how that was created in the judge's office to the point where they wanted to make sure that you didn't see buildings or whatever behind it. And not only did they create like a different shape of a window, but they brought in, Jeremy, what was it, like 15 trees?
yeah, absolutely. All those trees. It was just such amazing
Yeah.
to find out the links that they go to. And
Yeah.
we
Well, they
know
said it was like 15 foot, 14, 15 foot.
Oh my gosh.
It was, yeah.
Big trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Which you don't even see. So I'm like
Yeah.
totally confused about it. I need to go back and watch it again because now that I've watched that Greens manager talk about bringing in these, trees that got felled or whatever for whatever reason and bringing them in to disguise it. Unbelievable. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
The
so
link.
cool.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah. Okay, I have a scene I want to talk about. Unless did we miss anybody else's developments? Sarah, did we get yours? Okay, we
Yeah.
got it. Okay. All right. The scene where Minnie comes in and gets the lesson plans and the cowbell and then sits in Elizabeth's chair.
What?
We didn't talk very much with Joy about this. And
Yeah.
that has stuck with me all week. Like,
Really?
first of all, I want to know, was it written in the script that she took the chair? Was that a director's choice? I mean, that was like, it was intense. And she didn't do
And
it.
yeah.
Obviously it wasn't mean or anything, but it was
Not at all. No.
it was a moment. It
I feel
definitely
like
was a
she
moment.
felt so weird about being a teacher just whenever it came up. I know she was stressed and had a lot going on, but I feel like there was something else. I feel like Minnie was acting different during this episode. Maybe that was just
Oh, that's interesting.
nothing, or maybe we're gonna see something happen to her or something that she's stressed out about because she seemed so weird and different when she was talking about being a teacher.
I think that was probably the
interesting.
moment. So after that, we see her talking about some kind of idea that she has coming forth. I think it was in that moment where she sat in that chair that was like, okay, maybe that was where she got her epiphany of like, you know what, I'm about to do something else. And so, but yeah, I didn't like her sitting in the chair. Me either. I was like, Elizabeth, that's Elizabeth's spot. I know it struck a nerve in Elizabeth. Like it was just like she was already feeling it, like after the conversation with Nathan in the barn. But then it was like she might be taking my spot.
Like she felt that, yeah.
So I have a theory about Minnie. about why she has, like a new
Okay.
perspective, because
Okay.
the oldest daughter is not there.
Yeah.
And she is now, because she was the teacher for her. She was the primary caregiver.
Yeah.
And now her life has changed. And so, the focus is different. And I think she's looking for other opportunities. And but then this is the one that was first with the teaching thing. And did when she sat down, did she just sigh, or like, I mean, there was, I think, a moment that she just like, it was like an overwhelming, just, and so I think there was just so many things in her head about, okay, what's that versus what I was with my daughter. I'm like, to me, if this is the situation, I think Natasha is a brilliant actor to get that nuance in just her behaviors. It was not something that was spoken. It was all how she just presented herself.
Yeah,
both of them, and that they were like kind of doing a silent passing, because Elizabeth didn't say anything either. And I'm a teacher, so I'm a teacher.
Okay. Wow.
It's funny enough, 2014 I became a teacher and started watching this show.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yes. But I recently just left the classroom for a different role, and that was by choice, and I was so sad. Sad.
Oh, so you could relate.
So like to
what grade were you teaching? Sorry, I'm just
curious. I've taught from kindergarten all the way to high school, 18-year-olds.
High school, okay.
So I've moved on up through the years, but I know I've felt that like longing that, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to be in a classroom anymore. So for it to be prematurely taken from her, I was feeling Elizabeth a little bit right there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I was just going to say, in my everyday life, I'm also a teacher. And I've had full-time positions and substitute positions, and there are definitely a lot of different feels that you get whenever you have a classroom of your own versus whenever you're just taking over somebody else's classroom for a certain so I thought that Minnie did a very good job of kind of expressing the fact that there are those feels, and there is a separation between like a full-time teacher that Elizabeth has shaped Hope Valley for so many years, and just somebody that I think would be there, trying to be Elizabeth.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I like that.
So good.
So I had a Jen Hebink of Maple Grove, Minnesota, wrote this beautiful email to the official Hearties at gmail.com. We solicit questions from people, and I encourage them this year to up their game, because we're in season 13.
Yes.
We got to come up with some fresh questions.
We got to have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Send your questions,
so
guys.
Jen is already on it. And so she said something that I thought was so beautiful. I am a teacher, and I deeply identified with losing the light in your eyes as a teacher, having to give up teaching what you love. For me, it was teaching through the pandemic. While I know you have hit on parts of her story where she has to fight for her position, I wanted to say thanks. This is to Joy and the writers for hitting on it again, this angle, because I tell you, teaching is a roller coaster, and we get depressed and have to reframe our why and how we do things while life. The fact that Nathan notices this and actually does something about it reminds us that he sees her and loves her. So I thought that was really beautiful and super thoughtful. Exactly what I was asking Hearties to do, is like go deep, figure out why these writers are taking us to these places, which is so cool. And I thought that scene was really special too. It's just something about those two women and the place that they are in women's lives. One who's just had her daughter who had a chronic condition or whatever go off to school, and Elizabeth who's now having to give up something that she loves, because it's very interesting how that was framed. One is giving up something, and the other one is ready to pick up something for herself, because she no
Her
longer
daughter's gone.
has that burden. She has the
And
independence.
I also think it was a continuation because we see when Little Jack gets sick, how Minnie and Elizabeth kind of bond.
True.
When
Yes.
Minnie was able to
That was
share
so
with
beautiful
her
last year.
experience, and they've been developing a relationship.
Yes.
Through the seasons. And
That's
so.
a great point.
I like
Is it
that.
really picked up from that last
Mhm.
scene, those last scenes in last season,
Season
and
12,
picked up
yeah.
exactly where Minnie and Elizabeth were at that point. So that was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything
They're
else
so
that struck you this week as you were going about your daily lives, thinking about what we
One
saw?
thing I'm nervous
Okay.
about with the fire, I feel like Toby had a lot more screen time than he normally does.
Ooh.
So I'm almost wondering if something is going to happen to him, which is a little nerve-wracking. Like if he's going to get hurt or hopefully not die, but you never know. So I just noticed he got a lot of screen time, which maybe they're trying to hype up his character for something to happen.
That's a great observation.
Oh, intuitive.
They
yeah.
made that whole point of,
that was good.
Didn't he say, like, what did he say when they were entering the hike? He was talking, was the trail, he had the trail markers, or was it the dinner? Or I can't remember
he had
exactly.
chili or stew.
Oh,
stew.
yeah.
The markers were with Allie.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I think.
After the fire, I spent a lot of time thinking like, okay, automatically we think McGinty, right? Okay, maybe McGinty has something to do with this.
They set us up for that, didn't they?
Right, they did. But it reminded me of when Lucas gets shot, and who's the primary suspect? It was Montague, but they took us on a whole little trail, and it was not Montague. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, I don't want to set my mind on McGinty because I want to figure this out.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Also, they're gonna give us a lot of red herrings, and I think McGinty might be the first.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Henry is not our villain. So who's our villain?
Yeah.
So
someone new, maybe.
We need a villain somewhere, but who knows?
Let's talk about Henry and Christopher, because I think that was one of your other ones, Jeremy, that we didn't talk about. So
that was one of my favorite parts of the episode, and that's one thing that actually stuck with me this week, thinking about the story arc between Christopher and Henry, and especially the scene in the saloon, where Christopher was talking about how he wanted this job to work because he really liked it and he thought he was doing well, and that he hoped that would lead to Rachel's family allowing him, them to get engaged and eventually marry after so many years. So I'd love to see Rachel back in the show as well. But also the line that Henry said to Christopher was to remember that you're more than just your job. And the foreshadowing of everything that we've been through with Henry over the years, and how much that has affected Henry as a person, to see how he is now, that he's able to shape his son because of everything that Henry went through. I fell in love with that story arc. I just thought it was so wonderful.
And it was a good message for everyone.
For anybody,
yeah.
But especially for Henry, that he doesn't see himself as that, coal mine owner, just that villain anymore.
Yes, he's like.
And then the other thing that I thought was really interesting was, remember that whole scene where Elizabeth was traumatized when Nathan was involved.
She thinks Nathan's shot again.
Right, exactly.
And she runs to the
has
stalls.
that panic attack or whatever, and he's and he reapproaches her, and he's like, "I don't give advice. I'm not one to give advice," And for him to give advice to his son, then again, it's more development of his character, more confidence that he's able to
I'm so sorry. I'm laughing because all of a sudden my mind went to which it was the claymation thing in Christmas, and there was a winter warlock. Are you? And so when the winter warlock,
the winter warlock is in Rudolph,
and all of a sudden, I think it was
Frosty. Which one, Frosty or Rudolph? I don't know.
Well, it was some of the. Okay, so Winter Warlock was the one that was doing. I think it was Santa Comes to Town. Something like that. Anyway,
that one.
Well, the bottom line is he melted after, like, all of a sudden he was like, so scary, and then all of a sudden, he's melting.
1970 animated Christmas special. Santa Claus is coming to town.
See?
Yep.
I was right.
The immortal hermit with vast magic that lives on the mountain of the whispering winds and attacks anyone who dares come near his territory.
So that I think about with Henry, because all of a sudden, like, Henry's just melting, and now he's just really, really understanding what his life is in Hope Valley, because it's so different when these first 5 or 6
That's beautiful.
Seasons.
That's beautiful.
Sorry.
That's so funny.
Martin is the Winter Warlock who is now melting. But he did have the coat on. Didn't he have the coat on?
Yeah, he had the bowler hat. Yeah,
yes.
He had all of it. So, he doesn't
really melted in that.
Doesn't have any money for a new wardrobe now. So.
Oh my God.
Who knows?
I love it.
That's funny.
All right.
I think his character is a testament to, like, just the writers. We love all the characters, but the way they have, like, just written his character in the change, and it's not like it's not fake. Like, it's just like this man is changing and growing, and even when when I tell people about When Calls the Heart, I'm like, you just have to watch this character, especially when people watch from the beginning. I'm like, oh, you hate him now, but man, he's gonna become your favorite character.
Yeah,
you're gonna love him.
Everyone loves him.
Well, season 1, the finale with Rosemary, like, I was tweeting as we're campaigning for season 2, and I'm like, I have like a thing with 1910. New York, all the cars in New York. I was like, Rosemary, go to New York. I'm like, I didn't want her there because I wanted to make sure that Elizabeth and Jack were ready to go.
Yes.
Were you sending Martin off as well? I mean, Henry
Martin
off
and
as
Rosemary.
well?
What's that?
Were you sending Henry off in a car as well to New York?
I only had that for Rosemary.
Okay, only Rosemary.
She was a little awful.
I'm so sorry, Pascal. I'm so sorry.
I think you were not alone.
Yeah.
But no, I was ready to ship Henry out when he wouldn't let them paint the row houses.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh,
so many times
doing that. I mean, he was just such a jerk.
Yeah, he was such a villain. Like, he was such a villain back then, and now everyone loves him. Like, it's so cool to see that change.
Another plug for the Edify show is they do. I'm blanking on the name of Christopher, the actor, James Tate Dean, I'm guessing. Anyway, they interview him and also Martin, which it's rare to get to interview Martin. And so they talk about their dynamic together, which is very interesting. So highly recommend.
Yeah, that was a good episode. So yes. Yeah, Edify. Yeah. I think it's whencallsheart.com. They can find that there.
Yes.
Yes, with Elliot.
We'll put it in the comments.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Well, what about this preview for the next episode? We've got a big fire, it looks like. I mean, the trailer, the
preview, like everything that we've seen,
so dramatic. The smoke, everybody's faces are smudged. I mean,
I mean, we know Allie makes it out alive. I noticed that. I was like, okay, well, that's good at least,
because we see we see Nathan say, "Get her out of here safe" or whatever.
She's in the trailer for the second episode.
But do we see her after that? Like, we don't know that they get out.
I think so.
It's like
I think we saw in the.
I think I agree, Sarah. I think I saw that.
Okay. All right. All right.
It was with Oliver.
The different departure lines. So Elizabeth and Nathan are always telling each other, "Be safe, be safe, be safe."
Yeah.
But this time she says, "You come back to me, Nathan Grant," and I'm just like, "Oh, okay." There's no more "be safe." No, you come back to me.
Yeah.
And so
always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this won't be so much in the next episode because like they're going to be focused on the fire, but throughout the season, I'm interested to see Allie's and Oliver's like relationship because it's so like giving awkward teenager relationship right now. It's so awkward. Like I could just feel it. I like know what it
Totally.
feels
But I
like.
think this rescue
And
might even help
yeah,
with that because he's the
yeah,
one
I
who
think it
actually
will.
gets to take her out of the fire.
Danger
So
out
I
of
think
harm's
they'll have a little
way.
moment
Yes.
once she's
Yeah.
in safety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully that like makes it unawkward because it's
Yes.
painful
Yeah.
right now.
That was one of the best moments from the after show as well, as they asked Allie about the awkwardness between her and Oliver and about how they played it off. And she's like, "Well, I think relationships like that at that age are always awkward." So
Yeah.
that was, we just kind of did what we did.
Yeah.
But that was really nice to hear her talk about that.
Yeah. I was all
Jada is
in.
such an amazing actress. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed getting to meet her at HFR.
Oh,
as well.
nice.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
It
Yeah.
seems like little Jack is gonna have some like moments. I think there's a scene where he's talking to Minnie and he's telling Minnie like,
Oh, yes,
he's
That'd be so
comforting
cute.
her.
reassure,
And so it
yes.
reminded me of Aaron was talking about him and how he can go from like playing on set to like just getting in the zone and having
Yeah.
his like full. And I was just like, oh, we're gonna get to see Jack, have
Yeah.
some emotional moments in this series. So
Yeah.
looking forward to him having more dialogue.
Yeah.
Yes, and Lucas and Edie, because everyone knows they both like each other, but they're just not telling each other yet. So
Yeah. So it's going to be a raucous. The idea that we had a great premiere with a cliffhanger, to
Yeah.
me, that was like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I don't know if we've done it with a premiere and a cliffhanger. We had cliffhangers,
Well, that's what Joey
2 or
was
3
saying, is that
episodes,
there was a
things like that.
premiere where Nathan was hit by the car, and I needed to go back and watch that.
Yeah, I
because
didn't realize that was a
I forgot
premiere
that
though.
timing on that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I have to say how enjoyable the reactions to all of those were, being at the Kansas City
Ooh.
and getting to see the first episode with everybody
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
That was good.
All the reactions, all the hilarity to all the mustaches,
Yeah.
Yes.
just all the fun that everybody got to have together watching it, and then to be able to go from that to what was coming next. It's just amazing.
Well, I recommend any if you have the opportunity to be with other Hearties when you're doing an episode. I mean, it's just so fun.
much fun.
How many years ago? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say watching it at HCE was my first time ever watching the show with other people. I've always watched
really?
One Calls to Heart in the bed by myself. So it was a neat experience to watch the show with other Hearties.
Yeah, even when we got like the sneak peek at the HFR, everyone was like, reactions were like on fire. Like it was so much fun. Like someone could take a step and everyone would be like, oh, like it's so fun. I love it.
Well,
great.
I have such good memories of you, Sarah, submitting a question last year for Heart to Hearties, and your mom capturing the moment and posting it.
Yes.
Of you finding out, of us giving you a shout out on Heart to Hearties. So it's so good to have you in the flesh here. Tell us a little bit about Christmas Con. Did you get to see Dan Lissing while you were there?
Oh yeah. So we specifically, me and my mom went to Daniel Lissing the first night of Hanukkah because we're Jewish and he's Jewish. We wore Hanukkah shirts and we took a photo with him. And he was so nice. He loved our Hanukkah shirts. And we just told him how good of an actor he was, and he loved that. He was so sweet. This was his first like convention that he's done.
Oh wow.
Something like this. So I heard a few people say like he was so nice, he just needed to warm up. But he was just like amazing. He's so sweet. He's so cute. I love him.
Darling. So good. All right. So a plug for Christmas Con in New Jersey. You had a great experience.
Oh, it's amazing. Like I'm also a huge Hallmark Channel fan too. So I got to meet all of my favorites from the Hallmark Channel as well.
Oh,
it was
good.
so fun.
When you went to the Hallmark experience, what actors did you meet that weekend?
I met like Andrew Walker, Nikki DeLoach, Jennifer Mason, Tamara Mowry Housley was there. A lot of really cool people. Jonathan Bennett, Lacey Chabert.
That was weekend two?
Weekend two.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You did quite the Christmas touring.
Oh yeah. I love that stuff. I just like beg my mom to let me go to all these events.
All right. And what was the highlight for you of Hallmark Christmas experience, Janae?
Oh my God. There were so many highlights. One, just being with the other Hearties and like getting to just like talk. You know, sometimes we chat online and we read comment on each other's messages, but to be in a room full of people that like are just excited as you are was just so full.
Yeah, I
But
just ran into you in the lobby. Were we trying to get some food or something?
yes,
And, yeah, and
I was just so excited, and I even got to meet. I got to meet Brian Bird. Got to talk to him.
Yeah,
that was so cool. Like I was just like, he was like in the elevator behind us, and he's just like, so what'd you guys think about the, like, he said something and we're like, the way he said it was as if he gave us a gift. And so we like turn around because we're not even paying attention. And we turn around and we're like, oh my gosh, it's on the elevator.
13 seasons in, Brian Bird in the elevator, still asking, what'd you think?
What do you think? That's right.
It was so sweet. So I got pictures with Brian Bird. I got pictures with, like, I think every single person. I got with Pascal. It was just wonderful meeting the stars.
So good.
And they were, like she said, they were so kind and like down to earth. Like I was in that line when they were going down the line, taking your phones, and I was in those lines every single one. And I can't wait till next year. I just cannot wait. I was just like, I cannot believe I've missed this last year, and I will be at family reunion.
Yes, you should definitely
try. I will be there. I cannot wait.
So
absolutely,
fun.
Get your application in when the time comes.
Yes.
We'll shout it from the rooftops. Not to worry.
I will be there.
Seeing the set makes the show so cool too. Like you just know where everything is. You're like, wait, I've been there. It's so cool. It just makes it so different. I love it.
Well, I love what you said, Jeremy, is it feels more like a family when you go to the Hearties family reunion. You do have this
100%.
sense of it.
Getting to be with other Hearties just makes it magical. That was, one of my favorite moments of the Hallmark Christmas experience. And getting to meet everybody from the show also made it that much more magical, just having that connection with them. Yeah. And then one thing I hadn't talked about from the Hallmark Christmas experience was the tree lighting and how much fun it was having. They had only said that a couple, I think it was supposed to be like Jack and Chris were going to be out at the tree.
Right, yes.
And then the whole cast showed up. And it was
in
just
the cold. It was very cold that night.
Yeah. We got to sing Christmas carols with them and got to see the tree light up. It was just so much fun. I did miss a couple minutes of the improv, but got back in after that and got to see the hilarity that they had with that. It was such a fun weekend.
And I love watching them interact. So especially during the improv, during the interviews, like just watching them interact with one another, you just see how much like they enjoy working together, how much they love each other. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you can just eat it up. So I love that. Like all the impromptu, especially Aaron was like hilarious up there being all hormonal, giving out hugs and the tears and I just loved it. Like you said, you feel a part of the family. And so like you go home and watch it, you're just like, I'm a part of the Hearties. Like
yeah. And also like when you're at these events with other Hearties, it's so cool because me and my mom met this woman. Shout out to Rose. We met her and we were complete strangers. And like that night we went to dinner with her and a bunch of her friends. And that's like what the Hearties are about. And that's so cool because you don't see that much other places.
Yeah.
The idea that there, I love it.
It's all a good thing when you are in fellowship with the community. So I love that.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you for having us.
What an amazing conversation. And you guys are now in a great position because you've been on Heart to Hearties and you're ready to submit some great questions.
Oh, yeah. I'll be submitting.
Definitely.
Cool. Yeah, and then do some recording about your reaction when you're watching.
Please,
yes. I want to have some of those things that we can talk about.
We love to share those on our shorts on our YouTube page. That
would be great. Yeah, and then I only have one more question about the episode. Is the generator for me? I'm like, is it gas? Is it petrol? How do you have the generator going on without electric? In 1920.
She's gonna research it. Look it up.
Winter Warlock. I got generator. 1920 may take me.
I've not had time to do it. I was like, when I was just like every time. Oh, it's running. I'm like,
diesel.
Yeah.
I
Was there
see
even
diesel.
generators back then?
Diesel. There you go. Diesel.
I
There
see
you go.
diesel generator. Okay.
Well, it
There you go.
had to be something.
1920s generators. They started at the Ford plant. Portable units. Yeah, there you go. I don't know.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. All right. Case closed. We're good.
All right. Well, thanks again, you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hearties. We are in our Heart to Hearties era right now.
Oh yes.
Every week during the season, we're going to be here with the writers, with talent, and with Hearties sharing their viewpoints. Truly, thank you all. It's been so much fun. And Hearties, we're going to be back here, Hallmark Channel, 8:00 Eastern, 7:00 Central, and can't wait to see everything that's coming and to get these kids home safe from the fire.
Yes,
so
hopefully.
We'll see you again soon.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.